Alright, we're going to start just a quick little channel update. We're going to go for a walk around the messy side of the house because, well, it's messy. But more importantly, we're starting with the first thing to update everybody on. The reason I had to pull that bar off the door, somebody kicked the door in recently and messed up our TV. Also, the cold weather's here, so we're having to run the diesel heater. And I've got some repairs to do on my little outboard trolling motor. I may be taking the 8-wheeler for a walk at some point, or even a drive. We have quarter panels to do on the 6-wheel drive Land Rover Parenti ambulance. We've got a ground problem in the dash of the 4B to fix, because everything from the oil light to the temperature gauge is going all over the place. I'm pretty sure it's not the problem. The bonnet gets stuck from time to time. We've got some more mods to do in the trailer. We have some cleaning and organising to do on this. We've got to figure out how to keep air in some of the tyres in this thing. There's a couple that keep going flat and one with a big split. Whole bunch of things to do. I've got to do some more mods on the generator project that's got buried underneath everything else. And we've been away for a couple of weeks. So there is much to do. Also on the messy side of things that I can never keep up with, there's shredded paper everywhere here. Bought a brand new tin of chain oil, spray pack chain oil for the 8-wheeler. Dropped it the other day and it landed on my spare brake booster, punctured and sprayed chain oil all over everything. So we have that cleanup coming. We're also working on mods for this. We may have a previous cameo on the channel, good old Peter. He might be down here to be part of another video fairly soon, or a series thereof. I have a pile of junk I've pulled up off the beach, including the TV that got kicked in by the lady that come in our back door. It did reveal to us some of the lapses in our security, so it's been good to fix that. But I've also got to get rid of that pile of junk, because that's the sort of thing that people leave at campsites on the beach around here. Not great. A bit more paint to be done under here. This actually, a little bracket to hold the rooftop tent up, worked really well for my apprentice. We just spent 2 weeks on the road and that was actually quite handy. One other thing I've been doing, I've got a little satellite tracker that was stuck down here. I used that to track where I was. At some point, maybe for some of the members of the channel, maybe I might make a tracking link available to them at some point when I'm getting around. So for people that are really interested in where I'm at, you might be able to come and say hello mid-trip one day. In any case, there's a few other things to look at. Now, looking into the messy side of the shed, I have managed to make my walking space a little bit wider, but there is still much to be done in here. There's going to be a couple things happening with the X-ray machine. In terms of sponsorships, Radio Code have approached me for a sponsorship deal of some kind. Apparently they're going to be sending me out a Radio Code 103. So I'm going to be doing some little comparisons with that. But what that also means is there's going to be the resumption of an old project that I designed my own GPS logging Geiger counter for. And involves an area that is somewhat radioactive. Hopefully the radio code units will actually be able to help me determine what that is and finally put that to rest. The metal detector here, I have an old Minelab F1A4 mine detector. That might be handy in helping determine some of that too. I've got a lot of offcuts and I'm going to have a big throw out here. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's some combi lock stuff to do as well. There's just so much to keep up with and I'm fixing stuff every day. I may be downsizing my computer power supply collection at some point too. We never know. There's just lots and lots of stuff to do. Laser cutter, I've got to get back ship to shape. There's a few things that are not quite right with it. Namely, the limit switch here has busted. The autofocus pin here, the cable to the autofocus pin, these two little wires here, inside this cable chain has snapped. So I've got to do some more work with that as well. This guy is going to get updated. That is going to get cloned onto that system. Hopefully we can do a bit more with the laser cutting. And we have a bucket full of camera stuff to work with as well. And at some point I need to upgrade my driveway camera and take down my little 5 GHz unlicensed link across to another place in town. It's no longer needed now that I have fibre to the premises. Now of course there's always things to be done with a 6-wheeler. I'm pretty sure the 4B hasn't had an oil change in almost a year, but it's only done about 1,000 kilometers in that whole year. The 6B's done considerably more, and it's due for an oil change as well. It's got the oil drain valve, one of those easy oil drain valves on the sump. The 4B, I've got one for it, I just haven't fitted it yet. There's no doubt going to be a bunch of other checks to be done, and we do have water leaking. There are some signs of paint blistering in here too. I need to investigate what that is, whether that's just weld or whether that's actually rust bubbling through there. Got to pull the door skins off this and find out why the window winders jam a little bit. The door seals are not in great condition, and whenever it rains, somewhere along the lines there's water getting into this bit. I have checked around the seal of all of this, and I have resealed all the roof cab on that in past videos. Somehow the water is getting in somewhere above this point. I'm not entirely sure how. So that is another job we've got to do. So never-ending list of things to do here, but I hope it gives you an idea of what sort of collection of things there is to be done. So as usual, a good spread of content. So from everything from electronic stuff, a bit of artistic stuff. I've got some jewelry to cast in pure silver, and of course there's Land Rover content, and maybe some expeditions out in the wild. I did a very long trip, about 2 weeks. We covered only about 2,000 kilometers in that time, but we hit up a lot of different places. We took ferries off to islands, all sorts of things like that. So yeah, a lot to be done. If you're curious about the ferry side of things, we did stop at French Island at one point. I did a quick little montage that's unlisted. I might link that below, or if I forget to, hit me up in the comments if you're interested and I'll give you the link. But in any case, I hope this gives you some idea of what's hopefully happening in the next month or two. I have to go in for my annual medical review for licenses. Fun fact, when you have multiple sclerosis, it does make the powers that be a little nervous about your ability to drive. So every year I've got to go in and get that checked out. So that will put a spanner in the works into me filming videos for the next week or two, while I go and do the half a dozen different medical appointments I've got to do for that, and all the hoop jumping. I'm pretty confident I'll get through to that. And I also wonder if my fuel tank may be leaking or not. There's this seeping mark along here. I'm not sure if it's just because I spilled diesel or there's a little bit of overflow. There is seats to replace in this too, and the captive bolts underneath this or captive nuts are spinning, so that is a job also to be done on the videos. So as you can see, never a shortage of stuff to do here, and of course this video is basically just a blog of the things I fix every single day, mostly for my own interest. So hope you had fun. We'll see you in the next one.